going on, everybody? And thanks for tuning back in to another episode of Florida Prison Talk. And we right back in the New York Department of Corrections via Rikers Island. I appreciate all the support, but for this episode right here, we got my boy from the iTalk show, Lyte. iTalk is the If They Only Knew show on YouTube. Y'all go ahead and check that show out. But I'm going to introduce my boy Lyte. Go ahead and introduce yourself, bro.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? You got your boy Lyte on the hill, you know what I'm saying? Bronx, New York, stand up. You know, I appreciate, first off, I appreciate you having me on the show, man. Much love, brother.
Yes, sir. All right. What's the name of your show, man?
Yeah, the show is If They Only Knew. You know what I'm saying? We kind of something similar. You know, we do prison stories. We also we having the upcoming March Rapness that we got coming on where we trying to have anywhere from 16 to 32 MCs, spitting their bars, man. You know what I mean? We do a bunch of different things, mental health. I talked about, my story with my son with autism. We pretty much touch on everything. You know what I mean?
Has autism.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, my background is usually the puzzle one. My son's on the spectrum, bro. He's 11.
So actually, my son is he's 13. He's definitely he got I guess they want to say the highest type of case of it, whatever. He flap his hands, the whole.
My son's doing that all day. Is he verbal?
Yeah, he's verbal. That's the good thing about my son. Like I seen a lot of other parents that struggle with the nonverbal. So I'm thankful, you know what I'm saying, that my son is verbal. Yo, that means so much, yo. You don't understand.
Real, man. That's what's up. All right. Without no further ado, we getting right into this. We're gonna touch on Rikers Island a little bit, and then we're gonna get upstate and speak about the different facilities he's been into. But this first question is, briefly speak on what crime led you to Rikers Island.
All right, so I was on Rikers a few different times, 3 times actually. I'm in the early 90s. So my first time I was on the island, 16, I think it was 92. If I'm not mistaken, 92. It was for a robbery. We kind of strong armed somebody. I was in the mix. You know what I mean? And so I went to court, and usually, you go to arraignment. So I didn't really get arraigned because the witness didn't come to court. So the witness got to come to court 3 times. If not, they don't have a case. So I was on the island for like about a week. I kind of was in the intake, the reception, went from court from there, and kind of, left from there. But I did have one situation though I can actually talk about.
Okay.
So, now I'm kind of thinking, backtracking. So actually, I went to this one dorm. It's called Gouvernour 9. So I don't know if a lot of people are really familiar with this mod, but they had to close this mod down. So anyway, at this time, gangs wasn't really, it wasn't like how they are now. You know what I mean? Like this, they was up and coming in with a lot of them. It was mostly a borough against borough thing. It was like the Bronx against Brooklyn. That was like the main things. And so I went to this house. My first time on the island, like I don't know shit, you know what I mean? And so I dropped my my blanket with my toothbrush and everything in there on my bunk, and I was on Broadway. Like I didn't know what Broadway meant. Broadway, for people to know, when they put you on Broadway, that's where they put the new people or people who is soft, whatever the case may be. I didn't know that shit. Like nobody told me anything. So I put my stuff down there, and I seen the phone hanging. So I'm like, oh shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm like, oh, check out, I'm in jail and shit. So let me call my mom's and shit. So I called my mom's, right? And I'm talking to her. So dude come out their bag, like, fam, what the fuck you doing on my fucking time? So I'm looking, I'm like, Tom, I'm like, I don't know what this nigga talking about. I'm like, fam, what you talking about? You see, you like, what the fuck want you? And he hung up on me. So he clicked on me. So I'm like, fam, I was talking to my mom and shit like that. So he was getting aggressive. Like, he's like, I'm saying, like, fuck that word, we fuck you up in here. So, I ain't gonna lie, I was scared. So I hit the nigga. I don't think I ever hit the nigga that hard. I just hit the nigga with the phone. I was trying to get the nigga off me. And as soon as I did that, about 10, 15 dudes started whipping my ass. It was to the point, you niggas beat me up so bad there's like the plastic glass for the CO's bubble. That's how the COs knew they was beating my ass, because my fucking head was banging into the glass. Boom, boom. Yo, these niggas did me filthy. Like they did me filthy. Yo, I was yo, I was fucked up. Excuse my language. Like, yo, they beat the crap out of me, yo. Right? So they send me to Bellevue, because Bellevue is where they send anybody that get hurt or cut. So they sent me there, and I went to court from there, and then I got let go. Right? Okay. So that's one Rikers Island story. So the second time, I got locked up like about 6 months later. So this time I get caught for the hammer. And it was fully loaded. So this time I get indicted. Obviously, because it's a hammer, it's fully loaded. And during this time, New York is wilding. They're trying to bring the crime rate down. So they was giving niggas, I think it was a year for each bullet that was in the gun.
Damn.
With the hammer. So luckily I had a revolver. So that only been about 8 years. You know what I mean? If it was an automatic, nigga be fucked up. Like, you know what I mean? Like, nigga be counting that shit like, damn, 30? Like, you know what I mean? So luckily I had a revolver. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But this time I get indicted. So now I'm on the island. So there's, I want to say it's 2 parts. So I was in the 4 building. For everybody to know, I was in the 4 building. C-74 is, that's the building. That's Rikers Island. I mean, I'm not disrespecting any other, like C-95. Like, it gets busy in there. I'm not saying it doesn't, but C-74, that's the house of war. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So there's a part of the 4 building that's called the Sprungs. So the Sprungs is for like medium to lower classifications. So they sent me there. So it's like we in some tents like outside of the actual building, C-74. I think each tent hold like, I want to say 60, 70, like it's open, like it look like an army type, like bunks. It's like just bunks all next to each other. So I goes in there, and so these niggas they did, but they took my sneakers, right? So I goes in the bathroom, so I see this short little, Spanish dude in there. So, he laughing and shit like that. I'm saying, yo, fuck, you took my sneakers? And he was like, what the fuck are you talking about? Now, mind you, I don't really know too much about this cat. And, so anyway, so we squaring up. And short motherfucker whipped my ass. like this nigga was, he had me like, he was beating the shit out of me like I was in the store trying to block. Like, that's my thing, right? I'd rather fight a bigger motherfucker in there. So if I lose, at least I don't look bad. But when you fight a shorter dude in there and you get your ass whooped, dude's gonna look at you funny regardless. You know what I mean? Like, so that nigga, he beat the shit out of me, like to the point that I was embarrassed. So I goes into my my bed. So I'm still pissed off. I'm pissed now. Like, the nigga just fucked me up. I'm mad as fuck. So this one dude, he's over there, he laughing. Somebody, the fuck you laughing about, right? He like, the fuck? So now, niggas are trying me because he just whooped my ass. So he probably feel like he whipped my ass too. So this time I'm like, yo, fuck that. I'm not gonna take 2 ass whippings in one night, maybe 2 different days, but not in a half an hour difference. Fuck that. No, fuck that. So no lie. The only thing that came to my mind was to take off my belt. So I took off my belt and I grabbed it, not the buckle part, I grabbed the other end, and I'm hitting this nigga with the buckle to the belt. It makes a scene, police come, they grab us up and shit like that. And then they send me to another dorm that was in Sprungs. I got transferred out of there. After that, it became a little bit more easy. I don't want to say easier. It became a little bit where I was able to kind of just focus on the law library, to fight my case, you know what I mean? And it just so happens, I end up getting to this program called Cases. So Cases helps you get out of prison. If you finish the program, you get probation. I was working and shit like that, and I had 2 felonies, so I'm like, shit, I could do the program, get probation, and I'm good. So I'm like, fuck this. So I come home So in '94, you know, I'm working, you know, I'm doing the whole program, trying to get my GED, finish the program and everything. And one night we was drinking Cisco. So anybody that's a little younger, let me explain to you what Cisco is. Cisco, what we used to call crack juice back in the days. It was to the point that they had the, you know how Four Locals is?
Yes.
Imagine that 10 times.
Mm.
These bottles was like, at this time, this was what, early 90s. So the bottles are like $4 or $5. It's sweet. So you drinking that shit. So we drinking that shit. We drinking St. Nas, Crazy Horse. Like niggas is just drinking. So, you know, like, you know, money's running out because, you know, I'm not really hustling no more because I'm going to the program, trying to change my life. You know, I'm 17 at this time. So I'm trying to change my life. Like, you know, I wasn't a bad kid. It's just circumstances in my environment made me like that. Like, you know, when I got jumped, and you know, by 30 dudes when I was 11 years old, it triggered something. You know what I'm saying? And then from that point on, that's when my life just took a turn. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, so niggas like, yo, fuck it, yo, we ain't got no bread, yo, let's get some bread, yo, let's start robbing niggas. So I haven't robbed nobody. I want to say maybe about 2 years, maybe 18 months, somewhere in that nature. So I'm like, yo, fuck it. Like, you know, like if it's in your blood, it's in your, it's almost like a crackhead. You tell the crackhead, yo, you thinking my nigga, hell yeah, shit. You know what I mean? So it's, mind you, it's like four of us. So at this time, we was robbing cab drivers. So at this time, you know, this is before Uber. So cab drivers had cash on them. Like, them niggas had bread. And some of these niggas was, you know, transporting drugs back and forth for dudes, like stuff like that. Like, that's how they was getting down. You know what I mean? So we robbed 2 cab drivers, and then we robbed the dude that was walking in the street. So now the 4th dude is where I caught my case. So we planned something out, right? We told my co-defendant, right? Listen, take a cab from such and such and tell him to meet you at this location where we was at. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna be waiting in the lurks, and when he pulls up in the cab, you know, you either yoke the nigga or I'm gonna run up on the side, you know, we're gonna do what we gotta do. So he gets in the cab, right? We at the block that we told him to pull up on. So he pulls up. So I sees it. So I runs up on the side of the car. You know, mind you, I'm 17, 6'1", about 160 pounds, soaking wet, slim, like, you know what I mean, at that time. So I put the gun inside of the car. I'm like, yo, give me the fucking money right now. Get the fuck out the car. So the nigga, older nigga, like, nah, man, I ain't getting on no fucking car. Like, fuck that. I'm like, get the fuck out the car. So mind you, he's like a little bigger, you know, he a man. So yo, he grabs the hammer. So now, only thing that's going in my head is that, number one, why the fuck ain't my co-defendant choking this nigga up right now? And number two, if this nigga get the hammer for me, then they're gonna pop me.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because I know if that was me and nigga try to rob me and I get the grab the hammer, oh, you better believe it's a wrap. You know what I'm saying? You know, and that's probably goes for anybody. You know what I'm saying? Not just me, just in general. You know what I mean? So I said, "You fucker!" So I just squeezed so twice. So one hit him in the leg, like the upper thigh, and the other one hit him like in the lower waist. So he stopped. So mind you, my co-defendant is in the fucking back. This nigga never gets out. Like, he doesn't try to get out the cab. He let the cab driver drives a nigga to the precinct. So right, so they bagged the nigga up. So mind you, right, he could have said he didn't know me from a hole in the wall, right? That's what he could have said, but he chose to say, "Oh yeah, I think I know who did it." Like, and turned out, obviously, he snitched on me. You know what I'm saying? So he told them, and so I'm fighting 3 cases. So mind you, even though I graduated cases, I still didn't get the probation yet. So I still technically had 2 open cases. So now when I caught this one is a tech murder, you know, during the robbery. So now they offering me wild time right now. They talking about 8 1/3 to 25. Just for the robbery itself. They're talking about like a 3 to 9 for the hammer. Like, they just talking crazy numbers right now. I'm 17 years old, mind you. You know what I mean? So you know, I'm on the island. So actually, I'm gonna kind of get into the whole island. I'm just gonna go with the flow. You know what I mean? So,
Okay.
so this is '94, and at this time when I come in, it's a little different now. Now there's gangs in there. Before there was a few, but they was in certain places. Now we got houses full of gang members.
You was
Right.
neutral.
Yeah, I'm neutral. So
Okay.
they like full of gang members. So I goes to a mall in the Ford building. So mind you, this house is flooded with Latin Kings, Nietas, and La Familias. So in a Rikers Island dorm, there's about 50 individuals. So I'm half black and half Spanish, so I don't know Spanish. So I always kind of been more hanging out with, with the bros to spend instead of, spend Spanish. It's just because I felt funny, like, since I didn't know Spanish, like I just felt funny, since I didn't know the language, I didn't want to, be around it. And they kind of look at me like a fake Puerto Rican anyway, because, I don't know Spanish. So I always kind of was chilling, you know what I'm saying, with the bros. So mind you, there's only 6 of us in this dorm. And there's 44, like pretty much everybody's affiliated with either Land Kings, Nietas, or La Familias. So there was an individual that, I was fucking with, like, we was cool. And they was like straight extorting the nigga. Like, so he used to get what he got on the floor. And when he come down, he had to produce. So meaning he had to shit it out and distribute to whoever was running the house.
Okay.
Mind you, so when I was in there, I just got in there, so I was just trying to find my way, because you, especially when you're not affiliated, you you just can't go in there thinking like some people is built like that, to each his own. For me, I like to analyze shit to see what's going on. You know what I'm saying? And so he came back from the visit. He went into the bathroom, went in the bathroom with him. So he came to the bunk. I'm like, yo, what's good? Like he like, oh, I'm like, yo, how much loan you got? He like, yo, I got 2 sticks. I said 2 sticks. So wait a minute. So you telling me you went up there for 3 or 4 loans and really come 2 sticks? So niggas is like, nah, fuck that. Like, so so the brothers kind of like, nah, fuck that. Like, we ain't going for that shit though. Fuck it. Right. So when they came to him another time, this time, you like, nah, I ain't got nothing. They're like, what you mean the fuck you got nothing? So now, mind you, they all forming up around us. It's only 6 of us, dude. Yo, these niggas just formed on us. So they like, yo, again, yo, where the fuck the shit at? He like, young guys. So they smacked the shit out of him. Boom. So after that, it was on. So mind you, so at this time, I'm not the best fighter. I don't even gonna hold you. Like in my neighborhood, it was either you gonna shoot, that's the only way you was gonna live. Like my hood is it was a violent hood. Like you had to fighting, yeah, we did that when we was young and shit like that. But every time I fought, I always got jumped. So I got tired of that shit. So I didn't fight. I'd rather shoot you in the street at that time. No, not now. But at that time, you know what I mean? So anyway, so I'm trying to fight with a nigga, right? So mind you, me and dude is fighting. So dudes are starting to jump me. Mind you, it's like 10 niggas on me. It's like 10 niggas on like 2 niggas. Like, yo, this shit was crazy. So they fucking me up in the bathroom. Yo, these niggas beating shit. Yo, in the beginning of my jail was all rough, man. Like, I got my ass whooped, man. Like, a lot of dudes come on and shit. They be like, let me tell you something. That's not for everybody. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't have peoples in there. And the people that were in there, they was in there way longer than before I was in there. So I didn't have my homies from my hood. A lot of other people had homies from their hood in there. Like I didn't. So I had to defend for myself. You know what I mean? So they whipped me up. So mind you, at this time, there's COs in the bubble. The COs is affiliated too. There's 2 sides to a module. There was the adolescent side, right? That only hold 18 and under, 16 and 18. And then there was the adult side that was 19 and older. So when you're on the island, you're not supposed to really be in a yard with adults, not supposed to mix in with the adults. You know what I mean? So the CEOs opened up the other door for the adult niggas to rush us too. So now we talking about, we talking about like, yo, dude, that shit was like an all out, like that shit looked crazy. Like I could picture looking in the crowd, like how that shit looks, you know, because mind you, so they let them all in, they I don't know about the other cats. These niggas is, they beating the shit out of me. They throwing big ass day room tables on me.
Serious?
Yo, I'm dead serious, dude. Like these niggas was wilding on us. So it was to the point that the only thing I know, so I got cut I got cut in my hand on the altercation. So only thing I knew, I was dazed and shit, but I seen like the gleam from the razor somehow, and I put my hand up to block my face because he was trying to chop my face too. So I put my hand there, he chopped my hand. Yo, dude, when I finally was, when the squad came in there, they had to take me on a stretcher. Yo, dude, when I looked, my fucking hand, it was open so wide that you was able to see the bone. Like you was able to see the bone of my hand. Cause they cut me with cause they cut me with a rug. So a rug, you know what I'm saying? Like that's you put two razors together and that shit creates a nasty, or you get a carpet razor and that creates the same type of, you know what I'm saying, type of thing. And so I went to Bellevue and shit like that. You know, I had to get surgery on my hand. So I was so I was in Bellevue for like about, I want to say like a week.
Okay.
About maybe anyway from a day to week. I can't remember. I remember like almost 30 years ago, but it was like about a week, I want to say. And at this time I'm in my room and shit. I'm burning at this time. My hand fucked up. I gotta get therapy on my shit. I gotta go put the ball, like all that crazy shit. You know what I mean? So they had sent me to two up what they call that shit, the chop shop, some shit like that. So with the bros in it, it's a little different. Like it was it was like dudes from Brooklyn, like the bros. There wasn't a lot of Spanish dudes in that. Okay. So you know what I mean. So dudes kind of heard what happened and shit like that. So niggas just kind of just I was fucked up. Like what, you know what I mean? Like what props you gonna get for doing something, nigga, that got a fucked up hand? You know what I mean? Like so they just kind of just let me just be. So I was getting therapy. It took about 6 weeks. After that 6 weeks was up, I'm like, yo, fuck that. Anytime I see a nigga in the courtroom in the pens with any type of gang affiliation, you know what I'm saying? This is gonna be on at this point. You know what I'm saying? Because like that shit was wrong, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I get it. You know what I'm saying? At that time, the gangs, they was just forming. So I get the whole thing. We had a lot of knucklehead dudes that didn't know, that didn't understand. Now, we interview some people on on my channel, me and my boy channel, and we talk with them, and I can see that the lingo is different now. So I appreciate them for changing their ways. But at that time, that shit was just crazy. So I caught this one dude in the pen. So I'm sitting in the back of the pen, we go in the court, and he comes in, I see him got the beads on and shit like that. I'm like, fuck that, y'all just get up immediately. Right? So the nigga, like, he hit his head. So like the bars, like the way where they had like little like points to the bars. So he like hit his head and he like bleeding right there and shit like that. So they sent me to the Bing for that shit. So I ended up going to the Bing. I had 60 days in the Bing. So at this time now I'm in the Bing, and now there's a lot of bloods, like it's like that's a lot of the bloods was all in the Bing because they was chopping shit down in the building. Like I ain't even gonna hold you. Like you know what I mean, and vice versa. I'm not saying there wasn't no kings and guys, but the majority of the Bing was like the bloods because them niggas getting it in, you know what I mean. And I had a situation with a suicide watch. So if anybody know what suicide watch is, they're an inmate that the police select to walk up and down the tier and to make sure that inmates don't hang themselves. So that's their job. And they'll do other things too, like they feed us our trays through the slots. Like there's like an outlet for your phone. So you get like I think we used to get like a phone call a week or some shit like that. But then, he'll let niggas rock late at night when the seals ain't looking, like 3 a.m. we be calling our people and shit like that. So this one particular time, we was having a Friday visit. So Friday visit is from A to Z, where pretty much anybody could come. Because like on, I think Wednesdays like A through H or some shit like that. Thursday it's like M through Z. Friday, stuff like that. Yeah. So I told him, I said, yo, call my moms. Tell her I said to come Friday, because Friday you know, is anybody could come, right? So he called my mom's, whatever. Yeah, so he comes to my city, like, yeah, call your mom's. I told her to. She said she'd be up here Friday. So I goes up into the visiting floor, right? So when you're in the Bing, right, you're separated from population. They got you like in a plastic, it's legitimate like a plastic hut that you in, just you and your family. So it was my mom's, my little baby sister, my little brother in there. So my mom started telling me, she was like, yo, so who's that guy you had call me? I was like, you talking about my man? I'm like, nah, yeah. She's like, you know, he was asking me some questions. I said, questions? What type of questions? She was like, he was asking me what color panties I have on. So I'm like, yo, what? I said, nah, get the fuck out of here. I'm telling my mom just like that. I'm like, nah, hell no. It's like, I'm dead serious, Jimmy. Like, why would I lie about that for?
Right.
Yo, I'm burnt at this time, right? So when I came back from the visit floor, his shift was like a 3 to 11. So I came back, I think, like 2 o'clock. So I told, told one of my homies, you know what I'm saying, the situation. So at this time, I didn't have my hands on the razor yet. You know, all my altercation was pretty much fighting. Like I didn't have my hands on the bang until this particular time. So, I told him what the vibe was, you know what I'm saying? So he had a bunch of magazines and he slid the hammer, the gap. He slid it in one of the magazines. So this is when Homeboy's on. So he gives him the magazines through the slot. And he's coming to my cell with the magazines. So I already know the top magazine already has the hammer in it. So when I grabs it, I drops the rest of the magazines. Like, oh shit, fuck. Yo, my bad, yo. So I already had the one magazine that had the hammer in there. So I took that out. And since my flap was open, since he was giving me the magazines, I just grabbed by his head, just caught that nigga. Boom. Yo, the nigga jumped back. Like, CO. Right. So by this time, but I already know the drill. Like, you have a matter of seconds to flush that hammer down the toilet because they'll turn your water off quickly. So I already knew that once I bust them nigga and I just flush that shit right down the toilet. And once they heard it, they tried to turn it up, but it was too late. So they cracked my cell open. So they was like, Zocus, come down. So I come to the joint, like, I ain't coming down shit. And I closed the gate back, right?
Yeah.
So the CEOs, right? So it was one named Cutter. A lot of niggas that was in the Bing know Cutter. Cutter was putting their mad work on dudes, like straight up. So it was Cutter and Pep. So they came into my gate. They was like, you want to play tough guy, huh? So I already knew what time, but I knew they was gonna whip my ass. So I kind of played like by the window, shit like that. So I kind of could at least know what to expect at that time. So they came rushing and shooting up. They grabbed me, dragged me in the phone. They were stomping the shit out of me, dragging me down the tier. So the niggas in the chair, like, what the fuck? What the fuck? And like niggas kicking the gate and shit like that. You niggas beating the shit out of me in like a little vestibule area. Yo, metal, like these metal batons they got, giving me the business while the nigga that I cut was on the other side of the bubble. Like, yeah, fuck that nigga.
Okay.
Right? The only thing that saved me was that there was a woman CEO that came. I guess she came because maybe she was on her break or something like that. She was like, what are y'all doing to him? I was fucked up. They fucking, took me back to my cell. I didn't see the nurse the next day. You know what I'm saying? And then they let me out the Bing and have Bing time over my head. So I think I did like 38 days or some shit like that out of 60. So I had 22 days left over my head.
Right.
So, because they knew niggas beat the shit out of me. Like, come on, man. Like, you know what I mean? So then I get out the Bing and my man Wild Bill, he pulls me into Mar too, because that was his house. He's from my side of town. Like we kind of vibed a little bit in the yard before I went to the Bing. We was talking shit. We from the same neighborhood. So when he heard I came out the Bing, he pulled me to his dorm. Okay. So he's running the dorm, you know what I'm saying? So I'm in there now. That's when like a lot of my situations, like I think I had 2 fights while I was in his crib, one with another gang member, because I still felt some type of way. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So we dropped him, and then me and this dude named, I don't want to say his name, but we had a fight before I went up north. And he was my homie too, man. And COs let us scrap and shit like that.
Okay.
Huh?
You said the CO, they let y'all scrap?
Yeah. I mean, I mean, they know niggas are going to scrap. They rather have a fight than a nigga getting cut or stabbed.
That's right.
You
That's
understand
right.
what I'm saying? Because now they got to do paperwork. Now they got to take you to the nurse. They're going to ask, where was you at? How you didn't see the inmate getting cut? They got to explain all that shit. Like,
Right.
they don't want to do that shit. I know, but I wouldn't want to do that shit.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So you meet him for, he got the best of me, but I got, you know, I was able to get a little work in, you know, and then I went up north. So kind of backtrack, you know, I was fighting my case. And it was off me all that time until I went to my pre-trial hearings. So I had to fire my other lawyer. It was, even though he was a fucking ATB, like it was like I had a pay lawyer. I just fired a state lawyer, another state lawyer. like it was going to do any difference. You know what I mean? But he came and he like, look, man. He was like, yo, I'm gonna try to give you something less than what they're offering you. He said the good thing is that you was young, you was 17 when you committed, you know, this last crime. So that would kind of work in your favor. So right in pre-trial hearings, the judge was like, look, man, you know, you got a cop out for you. Take the 3 to 9 for the attempt murder. We'll drop that into attempt robbery with a weapon. And then for the gun charge that you have, we'll give you 1 to 3 for the gun charge. You know what I mean? So I said, all right, well, give me like a month or give me, you know, to my next court date, you know, let me kind of think about it. Cause you know, I'm still young, man. Like niggas, they ain't trying to go down. Like, especially not over one night. It wasn't like I was out there doing dirt like I was when I was younger. You know what I'm saying? Like I was trying to almost straighten up my life. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so I came back the next month and I told the judge, I said, yo, I'll take it, man. Give me the 4 to 12. So, so now when you are from Rikers Island, you go to, there's 2 different type of reception jails upstate. There's Austin County for people that are 6 years and under, and then downstate that's 6 years and over, meaning max time, pretty much. So I went to Austin County because obviously I had a 4 to 12 bid. So I got there. It's reception, so you might see a few people there. You know, people just kind of trying to, you know, you want to hear what jail you're going to. You looking at cars, yo, what you know, because you know, some of the jails that's up north, you know, like let me tell you something. Jail and prison is 2 different things in New York State.
That's what I was about to ask you real quick. That's what I was about to. You rolling perfect with this interview, bro. The timeline is perfect. Was there a big difference between Rikers Island and upstate?
All right, so I tell you what, it goes both ways. So there's a difference between police wise and a difference between inmates wise. So when you're in jail, Rikers Island, right, the inmates, they off the hook. Like niggas don't care. Niggas looking at wild time. Niggas don't know. Niggas thinking, you know, the girl, whatever. The niggas are wild in there. But when you get upstate, there's certain spots that are like that. But the overall is dudes are just trying to do their time and go home if they have, you know, a date to go home. Now, the CEOs on Rikers Island, with the exception of a few, they'll try to work with you because, you know, they from the hood, you know, they're black or brown most likely. You know what I'm saying? They'll bring you New York food. When you get upstate and, you know, when you get with them crackers, and I'm not saying crackers to all white people, I call crackers for the ones that are racist. Those are the ones that I call crackers. So I want to make sure, because I got a lot of white friends and it's more than 2 hands. You know what I mean? So I want to make sure, you know, I want to make that clear. You know what I'm saying? You know, we call them crackers. So when you get up north,